All right, let's start today off with a little bit of story time. Okay. On my 21st birthday, I went down to the gun store and picked out my very first handgun. This one right here, Magnum Research's 9mm Baby Eagle. Over the years, I've had a lot of guns. I've bought guns, I've sold guns, traded guns, but this one has always been a keeper. I just can't ever seem to let myself get rid of it. I love that Baby Eagle so much that a handful of years ago, when I came across a used and really beat up Baby Eagle chambered in 45, I just had to add it to my collection. Of course, I did go ahead and give it a facelift with the American flag Cerakote job. Both of these guns are incredible shooters. They are reliable, they handle well, and of course they're accurate. Okay, so fast forward to whatever, a few months ago, I was in my favorite gun store and I saw this 1911 in the case. What caught my eye though was that the tag said Magnum Research Desert Eagle. Hi, my name's Mike, and some might say I have an unhealthy proclivity towards buying firearms that I most likely don't need. Also, I refuse to seek help. Instead, I just try to make the best of it. Obviously, when I saw that I could add another Magnum Research gun to my collection that wasn't a super expensive 50 cal Desert Eagle, I had to buy it. I couldn't say no. So the question is this 1911 a Desert Eagle? Kind of yes, but also kind of no. These guns were originally imported by Magnum Research and they were marketed as being a Desert Eagle 1911. Many of the earlier models have Desert Eagle printed along the slide. At a certain point, the marketing team decided that it was too confusing to their customer base to have them labeled as Desert Eagles, so they went ahead and tossed that. The more recent versions of this gun have completely gotten rid of anything saying Desert Eagle on them, but they are labeled as being, what is this one, MR 1911. Specifically, this one is the MR 1911C. This stuff really gets confusing when you start digging into what this gun really is. See, Magnum Research, Desert Eagle, Auto Ordnance, and a couple others are all owned by Kahr. In all actuality, though, this gun is manufactured in Israel by Bul Armory, and then it's just imported into the US by Magnum Research. It's exhausting sometimes trying to figure out the origins of some of this stuff, but here's the short version. Magnum Research had Bul Armory manufacture these guns for them. Now, I don't have much experience with Bul Armory. I know I've heard of them, I've seen some of their guns, but I haven't handled a lot of them. But after getting this one, I'm actually really considering buying a Bul Armory pistol just to get some more hands-on time with it. For now, though, I'm going to try to stay focused on this Desert Eagle 1911. Personally, I think removing the Desert Eagle branding was the biggest mistake they could have done. That branding is what made it stand out and give it its notoriety. Now you say, well, it's a Magnum Research 1911, and people are like, well, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's the company that imports the Desert Eagle. I mean, you see how stupid that sounds? I don't know, it just seems like a big mistake taking that branding off of this pistol, especially when the box and the paperwork and everything inside all still says Desert Eagle. It's weird. So depending on where you find one of these guns, it's gonna run you anywhere between $800 and $900. I feel like for 1911 that's in that particular category, I think it's a really good deal. I mean, we aren't talking about a really high-end, $3,000 to $4,000 1911, but let's face it, most of us aren't really prepared to spend that kind of money right now. For what you're paying with this gun, I actually feel like you're getting quite a bit out of it. Let's start with the grips. These are fairly generic type grips. They're really aggressive, which I do appreciate. I like a good aggressive set of grips on a gun, but I had to reach out to Brownworks and get something that's a little bit more my style. Mark over at Brownworks made me two sets. He made me this custom set of alligator skin grips as well as some snake skin grips. I went back and forth between the two of them. I like the texture of the alligator. They're a lot more my style than the snake ones are. The grip texture, the look, the way that it just feels in my hand, this alligator, that's where it's at. If you're in the market for some custom grips for a 1911, I'm going to leave a link down below for Brownworks. They make some of the best custom grips that there are. So this model, it ships with a 4.33 inch bull barrel. I'm not really a big fan of 5-inch 1911s. I'm not exactly sure why. I think it's a visual thing. They just feel weird and disproportionate. So for me, I like these shorter slides like this one here has. It comes with two 8-round mags, skeletonized trigger and hammer, slide serrations, blah, blah, blah. Look, all these guns, they pretty much come with the same basic stuff. So let's try to stick to the meat and potatoes. They shipped this gun with blacked out front and rear sights originally, and they're not good. I don't like them at all. While I do like a blacked out rear sight, I prefer the front to be fiber optic. When you have blacked out front and rear, it's just really hard to get your sights lined up on target. When I'm out at the range, there's just so much different, color variation between, if I'm out at like an outdoor shooting range or whatever, you never know what kind of color contrast you're going to come across. And I just feel like blacked out front sights are garbage. So I went ahead and I jumped onto Dawson Precision, ordered a fiber optic front sight. If you guys haven't been on the Dawson site, they have some incredible sights for just about any handgun that's out there. So far, that's the two upgrades that I've done on this gun since I got it. Fiber front sight and sick-ass gator grips. I really don't see much point in changing anything else on this gun. I'm actually really happy with everything else. The trigger, it's just as smooth and crisp as you would expect with any other 1911. And I do like the way that they made this thing kind of two-tone by keeping the barrel, trigger, and grip safety this nickel type color. Speaking of safeties, the one on this 1911, it's not ambi. It's only set up for use by a right-handed shooter. If you're a lefty and that's an issue for you, it's not really a huge deal. If you have any experience with 1911s, you know that it's not really that hard to swap it out for something that's going to work better for you. Everything with this gun just feels smooth and high quality. The finish on the slide and the frame, it's smooth. It looks really good. It's not like a lot of lower end guns where you can tell that that's a place where they saved a lot of money. The fitment between the slide and the frame on this gun, it's really impeccable. I don't want to compare it too much to my Staccato, but I do want to make one solid point here. This Staccato costs 3 times what this Magnum Research costs, and that's without the optic, of course. When I look at things like the blending between the grip safety and the frame, or the thumb safety, when I look at how the slide is fit to the frame, there's not a huge difference between the two guns. I'm getting the same level of precision out of this $800 gun as I have with this $2,500 gun. The slide movement itself is smooth and buttery. It's almost indistinguishable from how my Staccato functions. I like that this gun looks and feels like a gun that costs a lot more than it really does. So I've been taking this gun with me on my weekly trips to the range since I brought it home, 2 months ago. Couple mags here, couple mags there. I probably put maybe 500 rounds through it total. So far, not a single malfunction. Honestly, I wouldn't expect anything else. Magnum Research has a really good reputation for just having quality guns. Bul Armory, of course, manufactures this thing, and from what I can see online, Bul makes a good gun as well. So like I said, 500 rounds through this thing. It's been accurate, it's been reliable, it's been an absolute pleasure to shoot. Over the last couple months that I've had this 1911, it's become a must-have when I start packing for my range trips. Now sure, it's not like my double stack guns where I have a much higher capacity, but the shooting experience is just impossible to beat. If you haven't gotten much time on a 1911, you really need to change that. If you're in the market for a 1911, but you're not quite ready to just break the bank, but also maybe you're not looking to get an entry-level gun that's going to be just nothing but problems, this Magnum Research may be just what you're looking for. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a 1911 that is in this price range that you're going to get this much quality out of. I will, of course, just keep putting rounds through it, and as we get a higher and higher round count, I will come back and revisit this thing soon. That's it for today, though, guys. Thanks for watching.